Have you ever felt like your life was falling apart, only to later realize it was falling into place? Picture this. You're sitting beside a pile of ashes, your job gone, a relationship shattered, dreams reduced to dust. Everything you knew is lost, and the weight of it crushes you. But in that wreckage, something stirs, a quiet voice, a flicker of hope. That's where the journey begins, not at the height of your success, but in the ruins of your crisis. I remember a moment like that. A friend lost it all: home, savings, identity, sitting stunned among the ashes of a fire that took everything. Yet, months later, they spoke of a strange awakening, a strength they never knew. That's no accident. Deep inside you, there's a psychological map, a hidden guide Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell called the hero's journey. It's the story of your life, etched into your soul, and right now, you're somewhere on that map, whether you're in the ashes or rising from them. This video is your invitation to explore that journey, to face your crises, awaken to your power, and overcome limits you didn't know you could break. By the end, you'll feel a fire igniting within, urging you to step into your own heroic path. So, take a deep breath, lean in, and let's uncover this map together. It's yours to claim. You felt that moment beside the ashes, where everything falls apart to reveal a new path. That's no random chaos. It's the start of your hero's journey, a map etched into your soul. Joseph Campbell, the storyteller of myths, mapped this out in his 12-step model, where you can see it in 3 big acts: departure, initiation, and return. It's the story of leaving the ordinary, facing the unknown, and coming back transformed. And Carl Jung? He saw it as a deep dialogue between your ego, the you that navigates daily life, and yourself, the truest, wisest part of you. Let's explore this map together and see how it mirrors your own awakening. The journey's framework. Campbell's journey begins with departure. You're called from the familiar, like leaving a crumbling home. Then comes initiation, where trials test you, pushing you to your limits, forging your strength. Finally, return. You come back with a gift, a new you, ready to heal the world. Think of the 12 steps as milestones. The call to adventure, crossing the threshold, facing trials, meeting mentors, and emerging reborn. It's not just a myth, it's your life's rhythm, hidden in those ashes. Jung's inner dialogue. Jung linked this to your psyche. The ego is your everyday self, clinging to safety, while the self whispers through crises, urging growth. That dialogue is the hero's journey, your ego resisting change, yourself pulling you toward transformation. When you sit in those ashes, it's the self calling you to depart, to face the initiation of loss, and return stronger. Movie mirrors. You've seen this play out. In Star Wars, Luke Skywalker leaves his desert home, faces Darth Vader, and returns a Jedi. In The Matrix, Neo awakens from his ordinary life, battles agents, and returns to save humanity. In Harry Potter, he departs from Privet Drive, confronts Voldemort, and returns a hero. These stories echo your journey. Every crisis, every limit you overcome, is a step on this map, a conversation between your ego and self. Your map awaits. This isn't just their story, it's yours. That pile of ashes, it's your call to adventure. The journey ahead will test you, but it's also your awakening. Stay with me as we walk through the stages and feel how this map can guide you to rise from your own ruins. You've seen the map of the hero's journey: departure, initiation, return, and felt its call in those ashes of your life. Now, let's step into a story that might feel like your own, a tale of an ordinary person whose world crumbled, only to rise into something extraordinary. This is Mark's journey, a man who faced a midlife crisis, lost it all, and found a path through Joseph Campbell's wisdom and Carl Jung's depths. His story will stir your heart, mirror your struggles, and light a spark for your own awakening. The crisis: a life in ruins. Mark, 48, was an accountant, steady job, loving wife, 2 kids, a picture of stability. But at 45, the cracks began. A midlife crisis hit hard. He questioned every choice, feeling trapped in a life that wasn't his. Then, the blows came. His company downsized, and he lost his job. Divorce followed, his marriage unraveling under the strain. Disorientation swallowed him. He'd sit in his empty apartment, staring at photos of a life that no longer fit, asking, "Who am I now?" The ashes piled high, and Mark felt buried beneath them. The call. A book changes everything. One rainy afternoon, lost in a secondhand bookstore, Mark stumbled upon The Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell. He didn't know why he bought it. Maybe desperation, maybe fate. But as he read about the hero's journey, something clicked. Campbell's words about leaving the ordinary, facing trials, and returning transformed felt like a mirror to his chaos. It was his call to adventure, a whisper from himself that this ruin was the start, not the end. He began to see his losses as a departure, a push into the unknown. The inner journey, facing the shadow. Mark's initiation began with shadow work, guided by Jung's insights. He journaled late into the night, facing the parts he'd hidden, anger at his ex, shame from job loss, a buried dream to teach. It was painful, like staring into a dark mirror, but each entry peeled back the ego's defenses. He confronted his fear of failure, the voice that said he wasn't enough. Jung called this integrating the shadow, embracing the rejected to find wholeness. Mark felt raw, exposed, yet a strength grew, a quiet awakening to the self he'd ignored. Transformation, from within to the world. That inner shift changed everything. Mark enrolled in a community college to train as a teacher, his old dream reborn. He started a support group for divorced men, sharing his story with vulnerability that healed others. His kids noticed the difference, less the stressed dad, more the man who laughed with them. The world around him transformed because he changed from within, proving Campbell's return. The hero brings a boon. Mark's journey turned ashes into a legacy, a life rebuilt on authenticity. Your reflection. Mark's story echoes yours if you felt that crisis. His ashes were your ashes, job loss, heartbreak, disorientation. His book is your map, waiting to guide you. Stay with me to uncover how to face your own shadows and rise as the hero of your life. You've walked with Mark through his ashes, felt the stir of his awakening, and glimpsed the hero's journey as your own map. Now, let's decode each stage, not just as a story, but as parts of you, echoing Joseph Campbell's mythic blueprint and Carl Jung's inner world. Every step is a conversation between your ego and self, a chance to face your limits, awaken your strength, and return transformed. This is your journey laid bare. Feel it resonate as we explore together. Call to adventure, the call of the soul. The journey begins with the call to adventure, a whisper from your soul that something's missing. It might be a crisis, losing a job, a heartbreak, or a quiet longing you can't ignore. Campbell saw this as the moment you're summoned from the ordinary, like Mark's ruin. Jung would say it's yourself stirring, nudging your ego to leave safety. Picture it as a faint light in your chest, pulling you toward change. Have you felt that call, that urge to step into the unknown? It's the first spark of your heroic path. Refusal of the call, fear, procrastination. But then comes the refusal, where fear grips you. You hesitate, procrastinate. Maybe you cling to the familiar, dreading failure. Campbell noted this as the hero's resistance, and Jung linked it to the ego's need for control. Imagine a shadow looming, whispering, "What if you fail?" Mark resisted at first, staying in his empty apartment, avoiding the pain. This stage is your inner battle. Feel that tension, that pull between staying safe and stepping forward. It's natural, but it's also where growth begins if you push through. Meeting the mentor, the wise old man archetype. Next, you meet a mentor, a guide to light your way. Campbell described this as a wise figure, Obi-Wan in Star Wars, and Jung called it the wise old man archetype, a part of yourself offering wisdom. For Mark, it was The Hero with 1,000 Faces, a book that became his guide. Picture an inner voice or a real person, maybe a friend or a teacher, urging you on. This is your strength surfacing, a hand reaching to help you cross into the unknown. Have you felt that guidance when you needed it most? Crossing the threshold, beyond your limits. Crossing the threshold is the leap into the abyss, leaving the old you behind. Campbell saw it as entering a new world, and Jung viewed it as confronting the ego's boundaries. Mark left his old life, stepping into uncertainty. Imagine a door swinging open, dark and daunting, yet promising freedom. This is where you stretch beyond your limits, facing the fear of what's next. It's terrifying, but it's where your transformation ignites. Tests, allies, enemies, the shadows, spiritual reflections. The journey deepens with tests, allies, and enemies, trials that shape you. Campbell highlighted battles and friendships, while Jung saw them as reflections of your psyche. The shadow, your fears, test you, like Mark's shame. Allies, perhaps a supportive friend, lift you, while the anima, feminine wisdom, or animus, masculine strength, within guides your spirit. Picture a battlefield within, shadows clashing with light. Feel the struggle, the growth, as you navigate this inner landscape. The ordeal, falling and rebirth. The ordeal is your darkest hour, falling into despair, only to rise reborn. Campbell described it as the hero's near death, and Jung saw it as facing the shadow fully. Mark hit rock bottom, confronting his failures, but emerged with a teaching dream. Imagine yourself in that pit, broken yet breaking open, a phoenix rising. This is your rebirth, where the self triumphs over the ego's limits. Feel that surge of new life. The return with the elixir, a spiritual gift to the community. Finally, the return with the elixir, you come back with a gift. Campbell saw it as healing the world, and Jung as integrating the self to enrich your community. Mark's support group and teaching transformed others. Picture yourself carrying a light, sharing your strength, maybe through a kind word or a bold choice. This is your legacy, your proof that the journey changes not just you, but the world around you. Your journey unfolds. Each stage is you, your soul's call, your fears, your wisdom, your trials, your rebirth, your gift. Mark's path is yours if you listen. Stay with me to learn how to embrace this journey and rise from your own ashes. You've walked the stages of the hero's journey with Mark, felt the call in your own ashes, and decoded the map within you. Now, let's distill the lessons that will light your way forward, lessons that touch the core of who you are. This journey isn't reserved for the extraordinary. It's yours, waiting in every moment you dare to face the pain and step ahead. Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell agree. Your heroism lies in that choice. Let's embrace it together. Lesson: you don't need to be special. Here's the truth that might lift a weight off your shoulders. You don't need to be special to embark on this journey. Mark was just an accountant, not a chosen one, yet his crisis became his call. Campbell taught that every hero starts ordinary. Luke Skywalker was a farmer, Neo a hacker, until they answered the summons. Jung saw it as the self speaking through your everyday life, not some grand destiny. You're not waiting for a spotlight. Your journey begins in the quiet, messy moments. Losing a job, facing a fear. That's where your heroism ignites, not in perfection, but in your willingness to start. The journey within. This path isn't outside you. It happens every time you dare to face the pain and move forward. Campbell's stages: departure, initiation, return, unfold inside, in the battles with your ego's fears and the self's wisdom. When you sit with grief, push past procrastination, or help a friend, you're crossing thresholds, facing ordeals, returning with strength. Picture it as a fire within, growing each time you choose courage over comfort. Mark's teaching and support group weren't external victories. They were the ego yielding to the self, transforming him from within. Call to action. Answer your call. So, here's your moment. You don't need permission to become the hero. You already are, if you choose to answer the call. You don't need a mentor's nod or a dramatic sign, just your own resolve. Start small. Journal one fear you'll face this week. Share a vulnerability with someone safe, or take a step toward a buried dream. Feel that fire stir as you act. I'd love to hear your first step. Share it in the comments, and let's inspire each other. Check the description for more on Jung and Campbell, and subscribe to keep this journey alive. Hit the bell. You're not alone on this path. Answer the call, and watch your hero rise. You've traveled far, through the ashes of crisis, the stages of your soul's map, Mark's transformation, and the lessons that stir your heart. Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell showed us that the hero's journey isn't a distant myth. It's your life, unfolding with every step you take. That pile of ashes, it was your call. The fears you face, your initiation. The strength you find, your return. You felt the fire of your self-awakening, ready to change not just you, but the world. So, where are you on your journey? Are you in the refusal, hesitating at the threshold? Or are you rising from the ordeal, carrying a gift for those around you? This isn't the end. It's the start of your next adventure. Take that first step today. Write your call, share your story, live your truth. Subscribe to keep this path alive. Hit the bell to join our community of heroes, and let's rise together. Your journey awaits. Answer it, and let your hero shine.